Hello, good people of the internet. Uh, this is day 14. It's day 14, right? Yes, this is day 14 of the 20-day life challenge that I've taken up on a Better Way platform with Chetan Narang. Hello again. And today I have again something planned in advance. Like I said in yesterday's live video, I want to dedicate 3 videos in this 20-day life challenge to life lessons from Mahabharata, not specifically titled around, not specifically centered around the Bhagavad Gita, but centered around the core story of the Mahabharata and 3 epic um, scenarios within that story. One concerning Bhishma, the other concerning Guru Drona, and then the third concerning Karn. 3 very powerful characters in the Mahabharata. I covered Bhishma yesterday. I want to cover Guru Drona today. So, for those of you who do not know about Guru Drona, Drone was actually, in fact, before I get into it, I would want to say again, like I keep repeating in all of these videos, this life lesson that I'm talking today is picked from a Hindu mythology. It's picked from a Hindu epic, but it does not mean that I'm promoting Hinduism. It doesn't mean that this is applicable only to Hindus. If anything, this is specifically applicable to anyone who is concerned about this particular kind of distinguishing between different religions and different teachings. This is applicable to human beings. This is a human life lesson. So, with that intentionality in your mind, let's go into it. Guru Drona, Dronacharya as he is called in the epic, he was the teacher of both the sides. So, the sides that are fighting the eternal war in the Mahabharata, the infernal war rather in the Mahabharata, Kauravas and Pandavas, they were both um, children of the kingdom that is shown in the epic, and Guru Drona, was their teacher, was their guru. When they were growing up, he was the one who made them into warriors. He was the one who taught them. He was the one with whom they lived to actually learn everything in their life. And so when the war breaks out, Drone, just like Bhishma, is dedicated to the kingdom, and because the kingdom is close to the bad guys at that time, he ends up fighting the war from the bad side. The bad side. I hope you understand that. And also, Drone's own son, Ashwathama was his name. Drone's own son was also a dear friend of the bad guys. And so, to save his son, to be on the side of his son, was also one more motivation for him to fight the war from this side. And now, as it unfolds, he is a fierce warrior himself, the Guru, of course, he is. And when the war unfolds, almost at the end of the war, is when Guru Drona is about to be killed. He's in that situation where he's about to be killed. Because, of course, everyone on the bad side was supposed to be killed. That was the entire idea behind the war. Right before he's about to be killed, he is confronted by Krishna, who, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, is the voice of God, is the voice of reason and understanding permeating through the entire epic. And he asks Krishna, I did everything I could to protect my son. I did everything for my son. I've always done the right thing. Hello, Harshit. Good to see you here. So Drone is confronting Krishna and he's saying that he's always done the right thing. He's always done everything to save his son. He's always done everything good, good as a parent and as a teacher. Where did he go wrong? Why is he the one who's losing in the war? Why is he the one who has to die? I've done everything to save my son. Why am I dying? Where did I go wrong? And that's where Krishna gives him probably the most profound life lesson on teaching and parenting. He says, that's exactly where you went wrong. You did everything to save your son, but did you save him from himself? Did you really teach him better from worse? Did you really teach him right from wrong? He's on the bad side right now. And you yourself are also fighting from the same side, from the bad side, from the worse side. You could not lead by example. Very clearly, you could not lead by example. You were so drawn in by your love of your kid. In fact, he ends up teaching him that what you are calling as your love for your son was really love for the admiration of being called a good parent, love for the admiration of everyone else to see that you were so dedicated to your kid. But in doing that was precisely was where you went wrong, because you failed as a parent. You failed to save your kid from himself. You failed to teach your kid better from worse. You failed as a teacher, because if you think about it, in some sense, in a very weird sense, he was the teacher of everyone who was fighting there. So something had clearly gone wrong. Something had clearly gone wrong, even with his teachings, even with the way his teachings were being implemented, etc. But keeping that aside, just specifically as a parent, Krishna really just leans into him and he tells him that don't consider yourself a good parent only because you were keeping your kid safe, only because you were doing everything to keep him safe, because you were literally doing everything to keep him safe. You should have rather taught him to be safe, to be safe also from himself, because look at where he is right now. And that's such a powerful message, isn't it? And if you think about it, that is one of the most powerful messages you can receive as a parent too, as a would be parent too. And that's not coming from me. I am not a parent, so I'm not here to guide people who have kids on how to raise their kids. But I'm a human being, and I find myself being called out to be a teacher. So I do understand where people can go wrong in all of this. And this is one of the key things, isn't it? We feel that we can actually save our kids from everything. We can save the people that we care for from everything. And in doing just that, we end up making them, um, what is the word I'm looking for? We end up making them soft in some sense. We end up making them dependent on us. And that's an important thing to consider. It's a really important thing to consider. And again, all of this leads me back to a lack of initiation, because who tells us this before we become parents? No one, right? We are almost, as a human species right now, we have almost lost the art of initiation completely, initiation into such important avenues of our lives. I mean, becoming a parent is probably the most important role you will fulfill in your life, one of the most important roles you'll fulfill in your life, and we're completely clueless as to how to go about doing it. There is no initiation into parenthood. Of course you learn on the go, of course you test everything on prod, as they say, but there could have been some initiations. And just think about how crazy it is in our modern life. We live such busy lives, and it's not only that we're uninitiated, it's also that we are uninitiated and we're super busy. And therefore, probably one of the easiest solutions for parents is to offload everything that they can to other people and just be done away with the responsibility. And I've actually seen that crazy trend build up in at least my city, in Bangalore. The nanny culture in Bangalore is just especially crazy. You would see parents of kids who are less than a year old completely offloading all responsibility of bringing up their kids to almost uneducated nannies who are only doing that to make a few bucks. How careful will they be with your children? But that's almost a segue away from what I wanted to talk about in this video. What I wanted to talk about was a lack of initiation. Really, we have a dire lack of initiation in our entire society right now when it comes to very important avenues of our lives. And that is where teachers come in, that is where parents come in. We need to have initiations for teachers and parents also, then, so that they can initiate better souls into this world. And that's it. That's probably, if yesterday's video was about a lack of mature leadership in today's world via the life lesson of Bhim and Krishna, today's video is about the lack of the teacher archetype, the parent archetype in our modern society via the lens of Krishna and Guru Drona. Those That is a really powerful life lesson, quite honestly. And if you are interested in checking out the Mahabharata, I will highly recommend you do that. It's a massive story, it's a massive epic, but it really does cover so many avenues of the human life that you'll be surprised how much can be covered in a single story. It is that impressive, really. So that's it. If you have not checked out yesterday's video, make sure you do that too. There were some topics that I talked about when it comes to leadership, the true leadership archetype that is so direly missing from our world right now. I think it's a game changing video there as well. So that's it, you good people of the internet. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Harshit, especially for your regular engagement. And I'll see you tomorrow. Remember that the 20-day live challenge is going to be on day 15 tomorrow. So we are very close to the end. I will highly recommend that if you still haven't shared this channel with your friends and family, if you haven't shared more of my work with your community on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, wherever you want to share it, make sure you do that. Make sure you share it with some love, and you understand why this is important, because a better way is beckoning all of us, and it requires a community to actually manifest a better way. So that's it, you good people of the internet. Until next time, peace out.